Today on our 2016 Jeep Patriot, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the Curt T connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56333. This is what our wiring looks like when it's installed. This is going to give us all the proper lighting functions to safely tow a trailer down the road. It's going to give us both turn signals, our brake lights, our running lights, and our ground wire. It's also going to come with an included and attached dust cap that's going to help protect our connections from any dirt and debris. One thing that's really nice about having the attached dust cap, it can double as a holder to hold your wiring off the ground when it's not in use. This part right here, this is a converter box. This is probably one of the most important parts of this wiring kit, because what this box is going to do, it's going to protect your factory wiring from any backfeed if your trailer wiring has an issue. What's nice about this box, it's completely filled with this potting material. So where your connections come in, they sit on the circuit board, or where they're connected on the circuit board, that potting material basically fills the hole inside of that, so it really holds on to those connections good. It really cuts down on any vibration, if it gets any vibration, that may cause the wire connection to break off. First thing we're going to do to start our installation, we're going to open our hatch and we need to remove our tail lights. You're going to have 2 plastic clips on each light that need to come out. If you have a flat-headed screwdriver, you're going to pry out the center. These are kind of flimsy, so trim panel tool or something like that will make them come out a little bit easier. You're going to make sure that when you take them out, you get the base with it. And you're going to repeat that same thing for the passenger side. We'll pull out our light, and you're going to push down on this little black tab here. That's going to release the wire. You're going to have the same thing here. Pull up on the red tab. And you're going to push down right here on this black tab. Pull out and separate them. I'm going to go ahead and connect my power wire that I'm running to the front of the vehicle. Now your kit's going to come with butt connectors. Because this is going to be outside the vehicle, I suggest exchanging them for heat shrink butt connectors. You can find those on our website. And we'll take our heat source and shrink our butt connector. Next, we need to get our yellow end, or our end with our yellow wire, up from the bottom of our fascia. You can use the airline tube. If you have wire hanger, you can use that. Wire hangers are a little bit hard to find, and most people don't have airline tubes in their house. What I like to do is take a piece of string. You can put a nut or a bolt on the end, gives it a little bit of weight. We're going to drop it right down like that, and it's going to come out right down here. Take the yellow end of our wire. If you're using a bolt, just take some black electrical tape and tape it to it. I'll take this. And we're going to pull it up. Like that. Then we're going to take our connections, or our plug-ins. I suggest putting a little bit of dielectric grease on your plugs. It's going to help keep it from corroding. If you don't have dielectric grease, you can find it on our website. Next, we're going to match our plug to our existing wiring. And then our other end is going to plug into the back of our tail light. So now we can reinstall our tail light. And plug in our bottom one first. Don't forget your red tabs. So next we have to mount our converter box and then mount our ground wire. Now it's going to be hard to see with my hands up in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount my converter box. I'm actually going to zip tie this end right to that spot. Just like that. It secures it in place. And we'll cut off the end of our zip tie. Just like that. Next we're going to take a 1/4 inch socket. If you don't have a magnetic socket, is you take a paper towel, set it over the top or over the end, take your self-tapping screw that comes in your kit and put it inside. It will actually hold it in place. Now we're going to take our ring terminal and our ground wire. There it goes straight up. Just like that. Make sure it's secured. Next, we're going to route our green wire over to our passenger side. There's 2 push pin fasteners on each side of our hitch here. Those 2 push pin fasteners actually hold the bottom of our fascia on a bracket. That our bracket kind of goes like this and hooks to the bottom of our bumper. There's a gap in there. We want to make sure we're staying away from our muffler, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to feed it back behind both of those brackets, and I'm going to come out over on this side. Now we're going to do the same thing we did on driver's side. I have my string and my nut there. And then we're going to do the same thing here on our passenger side that we did on driver. We're going to add our dielectric grease, match our plugs. You'll notice you might have some extra. What I like to do is kind of bundle it up like this. And then I'm going to zip tie it right to this existing wiring. And we'll cut off an excess or zip tie and reinstall our taillight. Next, I'm going to route my 4-pole wire the same way as my green wire, but I'm going to come to right here and hook it right to my hitch. Something like this. Bundle it up. And then my hitch actually sits right here. I'll just take a couple zip ties and I'll zip tie that bundle right to my hitch. Next, we're going to route the power wire up to the front of the vehicle. Let me get that done real quick and I'll show you how I did it. So how we ran the power wire, you want to make sure when you're running it, you're staying away from anything that's moving or hot. Started right up here. I went right on the, above this box. You can kind of see right up here. Went right over top of this brace and went around the back side, because this moves, went around the back side, right on this side of my fuel tank. You'll see some existing wiring here, existing hard lines. I route it right on top of this plastic piece here, this cover. Put a couple zip ties on to hold it to this hard line, right up here to the front of the vehicle. Now, I just happen to have some airline tube. Again, here you want to use something stiffer, maybe a wire hanger or even a stick. The back side of the engine compartment here by the firewall is pretty open. So if you had like a yardstick or something like that, you could probably pass it straight down. Then you're going to take your wire, tape it to whatever you have, and you go up top and pull that up and it'll pull your wire up. I will suggest once you pull your wire up, just look down here and double check to make sure that this is not hooked on everything and you have all of the wire up top that you need. Next, we're going to remove this cover right here to gain access to our battery. We're just going to turn these 2 little tabs here. We'll pull up and slide it out. The positive side of our battery here. Route my wire underneath. What I think I'm going to do is to keep it up tight, because I have nothing down underneath there really to hold it. I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm going to zip tie it right to this bracket here. I'm going to cut it off by right here. Again, we're changing out the irregular butt connector with a heat shrink because we are outside of the vehicle. We're going to take one end of our fuse holder, put in the other end of our butt connector here, the other end, We're going to add the ring terminal that comes in our kit. And we'll take our heat source, we'll heat shrink our butt connector, and make our connection to our positive side of our battery. We'll take a 10mm socket, so I'm going to remove the nut. And we'll go ahead and make our connection. You want to make sure when you make this connection that you don't have the fuse in the holder. You want to make sure you have a direct connection. Go ahead and add your fuse. And you're ready to test it out. Make sure everything's working correctly. Next, we'll test out our wiring using part number I26. Left turn, right turn, brake lights, running lights. That'll do it for a look at an installation on the Curt T connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56333 on our 2016 Jeep Patriot.